Kobus Wiese joins us, and we thank you so much for yours. You probably know already, I don't have to tell you, mate. Look, there's a very pessimistic mood amongst All Black fans. I'm not sure the last time I have felt a mood as uncertain as it is right now.
Well, yeah, it's true. I mean, the All Blacks are coming off a serious loss against Ireland, and I think one must first give Ireland credit. I thought they played really good rugby. They played really constructive rugby. They played intelligent rugby, and one mustn't take any credit away from them to start with. And I think in the end, deservedly winning the series against New Zealand in New Zealand for the first time ever. But then again, I think there will be concern, and is concern amongst All Black fans that the All Blacks aren't firing on all cylinders. There seems to be something lacking. I think, for starters, the midfield combination, one's not sure whether that's working correctly for them, if there's any playmakers in the midfield. And then I think there must be question marks over the tight five as well, and the loose trio combination, probably as individuals, but is it working as a trio, as a combination? So yes, there is pressure on the All Blacks, but in the same breath, I want to say that they'll be coming to South Africa, really hurting. They've been taking a lot of flack, not only in New Zealand but around the world. There's a lot of criticism. So they're coming with a lot of pressure and playing against the current world champions who come off a serious win against the Welsh. So at home in South Africa, it's not going to be easy. It's going to be a very interesting start of the Rugby Championships.
Kobus, you've identified straight away there several areas of the All Blacks which, as you say, aren't firing. I mean, we could use any adjectives there. We could say that we're weak, that we don't have the right players. How are we beatable in your mind?
Look, I think first South Africa will look at their strengths. They have a very physical back and forwards, a very reliable tight five that's been really firing since the last World Cup. It's a lot of experience. Lucy's in the back line. There's lots of pace, lots of youngsters coming through. But South Africa's playing more a 10-man style rugby. They rely a lot on their back and forwards who has been really dominating in the especially in the scrums, the lineouts, and the physical approach. Also, South Africa is known for very aggressive defence. So the question would be, can the All Blacks match the Springboks up front in the back and forwards? If they can do that, I mean, it's a very open game. There's no doubt about it. But I think the question marks has been asked, on especially the tight five of the All Blacks in the front row, the locks. Can they have can they stand up to the firepower of the back and forwards of South Africa? And I think that's where it will really start.
Kobus Wiese is with us, 1995 Rugby World Cup winner, and of course now presents on South African television. What we're thinking in this country is that any penalties within 50 or 60 metres, you have the ability to kick those over, plus the box kicks. And the combination of those two things puts scoreboard pressure on, and also puts a lot of pressure on us going backwards with the ball. Is that the kind of tactics that you think South Africa will bring?
You've hit it spot on. South Africa won't deviate from what won them the World Cup in Japan. There's no doubt about it. I honestly don't think we play attractive rugby. I think there's a lot of opportunities, especially with turnover balls and opportunities out wide. We've got lots of pace out wide because lots of wings, lots of youngsters coming through. But they sort of not getting great running ball on the outside. A little bit of crumbs, a high kick and charge. It's working for South Africa. That's why I think they'll stick to that plan, where the All Blacks have played more expansive rugby. They've spun the ball wide when they have the opportunity, and I've no doubt they're going to try and play that kind of pattern against South Africa as well. But then you need to get front foot ball to start off with. But I don't think South Africa is going to deviate, as you said, from what works for them.
Kobus, I've got so many questions to ask you, but while we're still on this, do you believe that the All Blacks currently have, enough playing strength in numbers? That's one of the big worries here in New Zealand, that we look at our playing stocks and you compare them to, say, the 2011 World Cup or the 2015 World Cup, and look, quite frankly and honestly, our players just aren't as good as they were back then.
Probably true, but then again, I think also then there was more experience in the side. There was a lot of experienced players. For instance, a guy that I spoke to last week was coming to South Africa, Ma'anono, he was playmaker. He was the plan maker in midfield. I think at this stage, that kind of firepower and experience is lacking in the All Black side. They're looking for that right individual, and I'm not sure Ian Foster knows who that individual is. The loose cue, Adi Sevilla, has been like a one-man band. He's been fighting a battle on his own and playing in a loose cue, which I don't think at this stage Ian Foster is sure which is the three guys that will blend in together. That plays a massive role. Your combinations, as you know, in the team has got a massive influence in the game. You can have all the best individuals, but if they don't complement each other, if they don't click together in certain combinations, loose trio, front row, centre pairing, the back three, all those things play a major role. I also think there's less experience in the side at this stage compared to that 2011 side.
In terms of Super Rugby and the fact that you guys aren't in Super Rugby anymore, and that's entirely our fault, New Zealand Rugby decided they didn't want South African teams in. How much is that costing us at the moment? And I ask that question along the basis of playing ourselves, playing Australia, is only two types of rugby that we're experiencing. You guys bring a different style of rugby, and the only way to prepare to play you is to play you. Do you know what I mean?
Well, absolutely. I, like many other former players, rugby fans, I'm all for the Super Rugby in the Southern Hemisphere. I think it's the strongest, most physical and telling competition in the world, and it's worked for many years. And it's a pity that we aren't part of that anymore. There's no doubt whatsoever. On the other hand, South Africa participating, in Europe now. In the first couple of weeks, I thought, well, we looked out of our depth. But then again, having two teams in the final, and in the end, I think, gave South African sides a lot of hope and opens doors in Europe. But you're right. I think there's something lacking. The fact that you guys are playing Australia only, and then against a South Sea sort of combination side. I think that might be one of the problems, but it could be too early to tell.
Kobus, how good are the Springboks? When we saw you play against Wales, it was a very tight first test. You changed a lot of players for the second, lost that one, came back strong in the third. But just assess where your team is at, do you think?
I think they're not even close to their best. With all respect, I think it wasn't a convincing series against the Welsh. The Welsh came over here. Even in Wales, they were giving their team back and saying they had a poor Six Nations campaign. They didn't look in form in any way. They were coming to South Africa for a hiding and so forth. So I think they lifted themselves, and I think that they got under the skin of the Springboks, and it was a tight series in the end. I mean, South Africa won this series, but I don't think that convincing. And I say again, I don't think we play attractive rugby. I think we kick far too many good possible balls away. We should use our backline more. When we get the opportunity, we spin the ball wide, we score some brilliant tries. We have such a lot of talent coming through, young talent in the squad they've pulled in. I would like to see these guys get more playing time because, as you know, this is a build-up to the World Cup next year. And this Rugby Championship and the end-of-year tour is sort of the sort of final stage to see which of these guys are going to fit in a World Cup squad. But they need playing time. There's no point in bringing somebody into a squad and you get to a World Cup and then they have got one or two games under their belt. So South Africa also has a lot to prove against New Zealand and in this Rugby Championship. I don't think they go into this two games against the All Blacks, confident saying, well, this is going to be a walk in the park, because I don't think it's going to be.
You changed your coach and you brought in Rassie Erasmus just before the World Cup, and that seemed to work. I know that you've heard all the chatter that's going on about Ian Foster and whether he should keep the job and things. Just on that level, how risky is it to completely change your administration, your coaching panel, and everything else so close? It worked for you guys, but it may not work again.
It's true. It's very risky. It could work. It could backfire terribly. There is a lot of pressure. There's no doubt. You guys in New Zealand know all about supporting your side, being passionate, and the South Africans is exactly the same. The All Black supporter and the Springbok supporter is very demanding. They have high expectations of their teams, very passionate, and rightfully so. So already the rumours is running. I don't know if it would be the right decision to sack Ian Foster now. I think it could be very, very risky and puts even more pressure on the All Black side to perform. So it's so close to a World Cup. You've got to push through now, and hopefully things will fall in place. And I think this rugby championship, especially, will be a big indicator where South Africa and New Zealand at this stage is when it comes to finalising their squads and form and so forth going into this World Cup.
Kobus, when is the last time the All Blacks came to South Africa and there was this feeling where there was so much confidence for your team and we were so much on the back foot? I can't remember the last time it was like this.
You're right, but that worries me. I don't like that. In my opinion, also it might be sort of a downer at this stage. The All Blacks just lost against Ireland in New Zealand, and I know there's a lot of questions to ask and so forth. But saying that overall, I really don't recall ever seeing or playing a bad All Black side. They might be off the boil at this stage and might be not playing their best rugby, but it makes it even more dangerous. I have no doubt this All Black side will be fired up. They know they need to prove a point. They know they're coming to South Africa. They know it's not easy, as it's not easy for us to play you guys in New Zealand. So I think it's going to be a brutal series. There's no doubt about it. So much to play for New Zealand and for South Africa. There's no doubt about it.
Finally, then, we thank you so much for your time as always. Tell us about Nelspruit, the kind of place that it is, the stadium it is, what we can expect.
Well, first, it's high altitude. It's a problem for visiting sides. It's going to be a full house. It's going to be a great atmosphere, great expectations. So, excuse me. I think it's going to be a tough game. I think it's an important game for both sides to win the first one, to have sort of an edge going to Ellis Park, which is, as you know, it's already sold out. That's 70,000 fanatical people there, and Ellis Park also is an intimidating. So it's going to be a very tough 2 weeks. There's no doubt for New Zealand, but I have no doubt that they will definitely rise to the occasion, and I'm looking forward to two massive games between these two countries.
You're such a gentleman. We thank you so much for giving us so much time.
Anytime, buddy. You're more than welcome. Have a good one.